Hello everyone. Our world is full of beautiful, amazing creatures, and their diversity is just astonishing. Bright fish, unusual birds, stunningly beautiful mammals, and even insects. Yes, some insects are also incredible. Of course, many of these creatures are hard to spot in the wild because some of them hide in rainforests and other dangerous places, while others are just very rare. But don't worry, because on our channel, everything is possible, and even more. So, let's take a look at some incredibly beautiful animals. Let's get it on. Birds of paradise. Despite their name, these birds are not the characters of fairy tales, but real living creatures. So real that they're very close relatives of common crows, magpies, and sparrows. And people who've seen a bird of paradise with their own eyes admit that it's hard to believe it is real. They have incredibly colorful, bright, and unusual feathering, which you couldn't find anywhere else. There are a lot of myths and legends surrounding these birds. The most common is that birds of paradise don't have legs. Sounds weird? Well, that's the whole point of myths, isn't it? It was believed that birds of paradise never sit and stay their whole lives aloft. According to these beliefs, they also feed on some kind of heavenly dew, and females hatch eggs on the backs of males right in the air. Of course, it's all wrong. Birds of paradise do have legs and all the vital organs. There are about 45 species of these birds, and almost all of them live on the Maluku Islands in New Guinea and the nearby islands. Most birds of paradise have bright plumage with red, blue, and yellow colors, but there are also species with darker feathers. For example, 6-plumed birds of paradise have 6 thin and long feathers with tassels on their heads. But this isn't the only peculiarity of the species. During the mating dance, the male swells up the feathers and looks like a dancing umbrella, and this is not a joke. Poison dart frog. At first glance, this tiny, cute tree frog seems so helpless and innocent, but appearances can be deceiving. In fact, these animals are very dangerous. They are some of the most poisonous creatures in the world, and certainly the most poisonous among frogs. One of these frogs has enough poison to take the lives of about 10 people, so be careful if you meet one, because they don't even need to bite you. Their dangerous toxins are released through the skin glands and cause cardiac arrhythmia, leading to heart failure. Poison dart frogs live exclusively in the jungles of Central America and South Africa, and have a very, very bright color. They almost look like lollipops, just deadly lollipops. By the way, these frogs do not produce poison on their own. They take its elements from food, for example from some mites, and it doesn't do any harm to the frogs themselves. Why? Well, it's a mystery of nature. But the most interesting fact is that without their poisonous fuel, the poison dart frogs lose most of their venom after a while. Fan-throated lizard. One of the most outstanding members of the Agamidae family, the fan-throated lizard, catches the eye with its spectacular bright blue, black and red flag around its neck. Of course, this lizard doesn't walk around with its tricolour fold bloated all the time. Firstly, it'd be very uncomfortable, and secondly, it would attract the attention of its predators. So these lizards inflate their decoration only on special occasions, when they're frightened, when communicating with each other, or to impress a potential partner. And when there is a dangerous predator around that doesn't get easily frightened when seeing a flag around its prey's neck, the lizard prefers to flee. Well, quite a sensible decision, because the total length of these creatures along with the tail doesn't exceed 18 centimeters. Fan-throated lizards live in low-density forests and open spaces, most often rocky with little vegetation. They are native to India, Sri Lanka, and eastern Pakistan. White lion. The very idea of the existence of a white lion sounds like a beautiful legend of some ancient civilization. You must admit that it does sound magical. A majestic predator with snow-white wool, unique in its kind, just like a fairy tale. For a long time, scientists thought so too, because until the end of the 20th century, no one could find any confirmation of the existence of white lions. Turned out it was due to the high mortality rate among wild lions, even under the best environmental conditions, such as a sufficient amount of water and food, but white lions have always had it even harder. Because of their color, these animals can't even get close to their prey unnoticed. Unlike north regions where polar bears live, the savannas are not the right place for a white creature. No wonder that only in 1975 scientists managed to find white lion cubs in a natural reserve. But why does nature create a beautiful species only to make it unfit for life? Well, things are a little bit more complicated. White lions are not a species, they're simply lions with a different color. Nevertheless, they're not albinos. The amazing color is caused by a series of genetic combinations due to a disease known as leucism. We could say that the appearance of white lions is a small bug in nature's code, but can something so beautiful be considered a mistake? Akhal-Teke. Yeah, horses definitely deserve to be on our list. Especially this species. The Akhal-Teke is the oldest purebred horse breed in the world. It was bred about 5,000 years ago by ancient civilizations living in the region of modern Turkmenistan. You heard right, this breed is really 5,000 years old. It's impossible to mistake the Akhal-Teke for any other horse. They have long, thin legs, a skinny body without subcutaneous fat and excessive muscle mass, oriental eyes, perfect ears, a flexible neck, thin skin and glowing soft hair that shimmers in the sun like silk. Now do you see why they deserve to be on the list of the most beautiful animals on the planet? And by the way, breeders also share our opinion. How else can we explain the fact that the Akhal-Teke is one of the most expensive breeds? Black-backed kingfisher. Imagine a bird from a cartoon. No, not a parrot, just a bright, colourful bird, which could be the protagonist's sidekick or be there for comedy relief. Have you pictured it? Then most likely you thought of a bird similar to the black-backed kingfisher. This is a small bird, smaller than a sparrow, of a ruby red colour, which some will probably call orange. And this applies not only to the plumage, but also to the beak and legs. The beak, by the way, looks quite large compared to the small body of the kingfisher, which gives the bird its cartoonish look. We wonder how its tiny body can hold such a big head. Black-backed kingfishers usually settle near some stream, feeding off small crustaceans, fish, insects, and basically everything that they can catch. It usually sits still waiting for its prey, sometimes changing the lookout. In that moment, the feathers of the kingfisher beautifully shimmer in the sun, making this small bird look even fancier. Caracal. All big and small cats are beautiful in their own way, but today we want to talk about the caracal. These creatures are often mistaken for lynxes because of their ear tufts and of course their size. It reaches 50 centimeters at the shoulder, it weighs up to 20 kilograms, and its body is about a meter long. However, the similarities end there. In some African countries, these animals are known as red cats because of their copper shade of fur. In other countries, they're known as gazelle cats for their extraordinary speed and agility. In addition, caracals are very pretty. Just look at these fluffy ears, the cute little face and the big eyes. No wonder that fans of exotic cats sometimes adopt them as pets. However, having one costs a lot of money, and we're not talking about just the initial price. This predator needs a lot of space and a lot of food, and this of course is not cheap. In the wild, caracals are found in deserts, savannas, the foothills in Africa, the deserts of Central Asia and Asia Minor, the Arabian Peninsula, and in some other regions. Comet moth. We have mentioned animals, birds, and even frogs, so it's time for some insects. Really beautiful insects. The comet moth is one of the most beautiful butterflies in the world. In size, it's only surpassed by the atlas moth that lives in Southeast Asia. The comet moth can only be found in Madagascar because it's an endemic species. The natural habitat outside the protected areas is constantly shrinking, and the local population actively collects its eggs for export. For this reason, the best place to see this beautiful creature are national parks. The comet moths are active during the night and sleep during the day, so this butterfly can only be seen after sunset. Just like other moths, this one flies towards the light of lamps, and it's your chance to see it up close. The Andean cock of the rock. And finally, a beautiful bird with a strikingly bright appearance. The Andean cock of the rock, as the names indicate, can be found in the Andes, inhabiting the gorges, humid rainforests and valleys of Bolivia, Peru and Venezuela. The presence of mountainous terrain for this species is essential, as Andean cock of the rocks settle exclusively among rocks. This is partly due to their bright plumage and unusual appearance. In addition to the orange and red plumage, these birds stand out for their fluffy, disc-like crests that reach the beak. The crest hides the bird's beak almost completely, making it look soft and toy-like. Of course, with this look, Andean cock of the rocks have to be constantly on guard, hiding from a variety of predators in the air and on the ground. Females have fewer problems though. Like many other species, the female specimens have more modest colors and can hide more easily. Hey, stop being lazy, it's time to use that brain of yours. Welcome to Brain Time. Incredible facts from the past, the present and even the future. The power of nature and wild animals, amazing facts and unsolved mysteries. You'll find all this and much more here. Subscribe now, you won't regret it.